The last image burned in my mind was the taillights of his SUV fading down the street, my children inside. All I could think was, how did we end up here after saying I do? In that instant, it felt like my entire world was crumbling in slow motion. My legs gave out. My hands trembled so hard I couldn't even shut the door behind me. We had been married 7 years. 7 years of daily routines, bills, birthday candles, and late-night arguments that ended with one of us turning away in silence. On the surface, we looked flawless. 2 healthy kids, a cozy home in a quiet block, secure jobs. People often told us, "You two are so fortunate." But inside, I felt like I was drowning in a life I no longer recognized. No one warns you that marriages don't usually explode. They wear down piece by piece. Tiny fractures from fights you can't even recall. A sharp remark here, a slammed door there. You shift from teammates to strangers sharing space. From laughing over takeout dinners to scrolling your phones in silence across the couch. And I let it all unfold. For months I'd been uneasy. My mind drifted back to the version of me before vows, before children. I began feeding myself dangerous little lies. Maybe I chose wrong, maybe another version of me was still out there waiting. Those lies rooted deep. One Thursday night, after yet another petty fight, this one over who forgot the trash, I snapped. I stared across the kitchen at his tense face and said the words I could never take back. "I regret marrying you." The second they left my lips, the atmosphere changed. It felt like all the air vanished. He didn't shout. He didn't slam anything. He just stared long enough for me to watch the light fade from his eyes. Then he turned, walked past me, and went upstairs without speaking. I thought we'd argue the next day like always. I thought maybe it would push us into a real conversation about our marriage, maybe even a wake-up call. But when I woke up, his side of the bed was empty. The kids' rooms half bare too. Favorite toys missing, clothes gone. I rushed downstairs and saw the garage door open, his car gone. Then my phone buzzed. "You made your choice." First I was enraged. How could he take the kids? How could he just vanish? But as days replaced hours, fury turned into a crushing weight in my chest. I had pushed him away for so long that when I shoved, he didn't return. The silence at home was unbearable. No cartoons in the morning, no footsteps rushing for breakfast, no laughter echoing through the hallway. Passing their empty rooms twisted my stomach. I told myself I'd call, demand to see them. But each time I picked up the phone I froze. Deep down, I knew this wasn't just him keeping the kids for a few days. It was his way of showing me that words have consequences. I replayed everything. The nights he stayed up fixing things so my mornings were easier. The afternoons he took the kids to the park so I could rest, while I wasted the time scrolling my phone. The moments he asked if I was okay and I'd roll my eyes like it was the most ridiculous question. I'd been so focused on what I thought was missing that I overlooked what I had. It's strange, inside a marriage you think time will always be there to repair. You think you can say something cruel and later undo it with apologies. But sometimes the window slams shut in an instant. By the second week I finally called. He answered, but his voice was distant, cold. Asked to see the kids. He said we'd have to figure something out. No promises, just distance. I told him I hadn't meant it, that I'd spoken out of frustration. But he cut me off. "You've been saying it without words for years. That night you finally spoke it aloud." And I had no reply because he was right. Through my actions, my tone, the walls I built, I'd been telling him he wasn't enough. Now I was the one left with not enough. The hardest part is, I don't even know if I want him back for the right reasons. Do I miss him or the life we built? Do I long for the man I married, or just the comfort of a whole family? I keep flashing back to our wedding day, when we promised to love each other through better and worse. But I never realized how easy it is to confuse worse with not exciting enough. They say, you don't know what you have until it's gone. I thought it was just a cliché. But standing in my quiet kitchen, holding cold coffee, I realized it's not just true, it's brutal. Regret doesn't just sting. It settles deep in your bones. I don't know if he'll ever forgive me. I don't know if we'll ever be a family again. What I do know is that I'll never forget his face that night, the moment he decided he was done. Maybe that's my punishment, to live knowing I asked for space, and he gave it in the only way he knew how. So now I replay our 7 years like a film I can't turn off, wondering if there was a single point, a word, a smile, a touch, where I could have turned it around. And wondering if, deep down, I had already chosen long before I spoke. If I could go back, I'd tell him the real truth. Not the sharp truth meant to wound, but the gentler truth meant to mend. That I felt lost. That I was disconnected. That I wanted us to find our way again. But that's not the truth he received. And now he's gone. They say be careful with your words because once spoken they can't be taken back. I used to think it meant people would just remember them.